Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Yes, we can.
Hello, beautiful ladies.
How are you, ladies?
I'm fine. Fine, fine, fine.
Good, good, good. I'm excited. Honestly, you guys don't know how excited I am.
We're nervous.
Oh,
I'm a bit,
no,
I'm
no
not
need
nervous,
to
but
be.
just thinking.
Wow, no need to be nervous.
No.
Seriously, you're home. Now, our regulars, can you do the needful? Can you welcome them? Can you give them virtual hugs? Can you show them some love? And I'm hugging you. I'm giving you virtual hugs.
Actually, there's a threat for you. You said you
There's a
better be
choice.
nervous.
Better be nervous.
Ade.
Yay.
Hey, Bookie. Hi, Ade. Oh, welcome, Davy.
See all the love. They're showing you love and hugs.
Oh, thank you.
Tony, yes, yes, yes.
Oh, wow. Wow, Hangout Cafe is the place to be on
It
Saturdays.
is, yes.
Yes.
And listen, seriously, anyone that's watching now, anyone that's on, and anyone that will watch later, if you have you feel you have a story to share or anything to help, to educate us, to inform us, please send me a DM, or if you have my number, send me a message. We would love to have you on. Please, don't be shy. And even if you're shy, don't worry. By the time you get on, you'll be fine. Yeah.
Thanks, Ade.
Asiko, welcome. This is the first time I think you're on Hangout Cafe. It's lovely to see you. Welcome,
Yes.
welcome. So, ladies.
Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, everyone.
You ready? You ready for us?
Yes, I am.
See, I don't have my coffee, and I'm such a coffee drinker. But don't worry, I've already had two this morning, so I'm trying to cut it back.
Wow. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hangout Cafe. And today we have two amazing ladies. I'll say young ladies, even though you might not think that. I think I call them young ladies.
We're young. Forever young.
Forever young, yes. Sholanke and Tumi Ladele. And you know, I'm just going to laugh today because I know that it's going to be fun with these two ladies here with us. But let's start off by getting to know a little bit more about them. So I'm going to ask them to just introduce themselves and just tell us a little bit about what they do. So whoever wants to go first.
I'll go.
Okay.
Don't mind. So hello everyone. Thank you so much, Solanke, for this privilege, because I don't take it for granted. Thank you. My name is Shola. For those that don't know, so my name is Shola, and I am a mom of two, married. Two, married to Lex Solanke. So what do? I work full-time in brand management. My phone, sorry about that. I work as a program manager in a pharmaceutical company, and I also run a fashion business. And well, that's been on the back burner for a bit, but it's coming back. And I also run part-time a beauty business as well, which I so love. I'm obsessed with skincare, so I with skin, beauty, and things like that. So that's me in a nutshell. Also, of course, a lover of God and worship leader. I worship my way through everything. So that's me. And yeah, I'm so pleased and so happy to be here with you all today.
Thank you. Thank you, Shola. Okay, Tumi.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tumi Ladele. I am wife to Tunji Ladele. I'm a mom of two as well. That's who I am. And then I work in HR. I'm in HR, and I work with science societies. So bringing education to universities about microbiology, biochemical, anyway, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I work with them, and like Shola said, I'm not a worship leader, but I love worship. I worship my way through everything. I rather worship than pray, which I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. But I also love skincare, and yeah, I really do. I think if you have lovely skin, you wouldn't need a lot of makeup. So yes, that's me. That's me in a nutshell.
Thank you.
And I love God.
Both worshippers. Well, good, good,
Yes.
good. Right. First of all, I need you guys to do me a favor. Can you drop the pastor, please? I'm not here as pastor. I'm here as the host of Hangout Cafe. So you can call me. I know it might be difficult, but call me PFA, call me whatever. But let's drop the pastor.
Okay, PFA.
I know
This auntie, mommy.
auntie, sister. Right. Okay. So I thought I'll bring this young ladies. Oh God, I'm not. When I say young ladies, I don't mean it as in you know what I mean. Ladies. Let me just say ladies. Up to date to talk about marriage because I knew both of them before they got married, and I know that first of all they probably didn't have a clue about what they were getting into before they went into marriage. And I also know that both of them had apprehensions about getting married. So I just thought it would be nice to catch up with them to find out how long have you been married for now,
How
Shola?
far? I think I've been married 8 years.
8 years. Wow.
Since
Okay.
2013. So someone do the math. So
8 years.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
And
8 years.
eight
Yes.
years. Okay. And to me, how long have you been married for?
14 years. 14.
What?
I know. I know.
Wow. I can't believe that.
Neither
Yeah.
can I.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to start with, I'll start with, well, I'll get them to share. But before I do, I need to tell you this story about Tumi. So, oh, actually, one other thing. I remember I was having a conversation with Tumi, was it yesterday or the day before? And she said one of the things she told her husband was that I hope that at the end of Hangout Cafe, our marriage will still be intact. So, what did he say when you said that to him?
He was just laughing. He was like, "Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine." So, yeah.
So, it's giving you permission to share.
Mm-hmm.
Shall I, as your hobby, give you permission to share too?
Me, I am of a frame of mind that you do first and you take permission later. You take permission later. No, but he knows I'm on here and he's with the kids, so he's not going to watch. He's not watching live. He might come on to it later, but
Okay.
we'll see. But I'm sure we'll be okay. We'll fight. We'll go through everything, by God's
Fantastic.
grace.
Okay. Yes. So what? Yeah. What I was also going to say about Tumi was so I remember when I think just after she got married, so we had a conversation with her, and when you get before you get married, you have what do they call it now? Bridal shower. And tell us about it. Let me know. You share the story.
So my wonderful friends at the time had thrown me a bridal shower, and there were so many interesting things there. There was chewable underwear. There was body paint you could lick off. There was matching stuff. It was just really nice. They gave me advice about how sexy I should be, and it was just nice fun. So yeah, I proceeded to use all these items when I got married. So the first night, the wedding night when we got back to the UK, because we had our wedding in Nigeria. So I wore the matching set. That's what they said I should do. So I very warming my way, feeling sexy, and nothing happened that night. So like we didn't follow through, or I didn't follow through. Second night, I wore the second set, matching. I didn't follow through. By the third night, my husband was like, "Don't even try. Don't bring any sexy. Let's just get down. I don't care about what you're wearing. I've had enough of all these sexy licious and warming your way and wearing matching." He wasn't having it because they told me that once you wear what you expect to wear, everything will be nice and sexy. It wasn't working. The guy wasn't having it. He was like, "You know what? I don't want anything sexy. Just let's get down." I don't want to follow through. So yeah.
So I guess that means now you don't wear anything sexy.
I don't bother. Well, I do at times.
At times.
That's for the gram. That's for the gram.
Shola, what about you? Do you wear all this sexy stuff?
Wow, we're starting with that one. You know what? Similar to Tumi, nobody even told me. I thought, wow, let's just do this marriage thing because my body's on fire, that kind of thing. Because you've held yourself and you've been like, okay, it's time. And then you're thinking, oh, because okay, I remember there's an occasion that came to my mind that when as Timmy was talking, and we just got married. We were in our flat, and I'd worn something nice and sexy under, but I put like a robe on top, and I was doing the dishes, and I was sort of hoping that I did my dishes. I went to bed. Nothing like he didn't even say. I was like, see, man did not even look at me or even notice. Something else happened. We started talking about something, and it was just like all this stuff for no, and the occasions where I've done it in my own mind, thinking that this is the expectation, and it's like, girl, there's conversations to be had. When arguments come in, there's tension, there's emotions. No matter what you wear, forget it. It's just not about that anymore. It's more about the person, the conversations, emotions, and all these other things. So yeah, as we were talking, I remember that day because I went to bed very sad because I'm like, all this effort, this nice red lingerie I have on, and I'm just going to bed because yeah. So that's my experience.
Oh my goodness. I really would love to get a man on. Now come and tell us if these things actually do move them, all these things that they say women should wear and used to turn the man. I really would want to find out.
Actually, you know what? They say men are physical, right?
Yeah.
That, you just, I don't know if I'm allowed to share, but I can, we're open, right? This is a safe thing. But what I've learned anyway, personally, is that less is more.
Okay.
Now, don't waste your money. That you don't, all that is great, but it's just, less is more. I'll just leave it there.
Okay. So, to me, you are nodding, so I guess you agree with Shola.
I mean, self-care is good. Like Shola was saying, self-care is good, and wearing it visually, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But when the chips comes down or the chips fall down, you better perform. Your gymnastics in that bed. All that your extra boxes for yourself. So I think, that's from my angle. That's how it is. So yeah.
Okay. So let's I guess get back to the beginning. So before you guys got married, you had dreams, you had hopes, you had expectations. You were, I'm sure, what you expected at the beginning? All this. So talk to us. Tell us. Okay, what did you hope? What were you hoping? What did you or rather, let me put it this way. What did you think marriage was going to be like when you guys got married? What do you think? What did you have at the back of your mind?
First of all, I thought we were going to get along.
Okay. Did you have marriage counseling before you got married?
I did, but I still felt like we were going to get along. Okay. Fine. Like we're going to get along, like come what may, and we still do. Don't get me wrong, we do. But what I mean, I just didn't realize that there's so much that we still needed to work on. I just thought it would be natural because we've been dating. We're friends. We love each other. We're just going to get along, all the time. I thought that. The first topic we were talking, the first subject, I thought that, wow, it would be, cookies and cream, morning, afternoon, night. I was like, cookies and cream, morning, afternoon. I like every time. That was what I thought. That was my expectation.
Well, because Shola is a bit shy. So for those who don't know, she thought sex was going to be absolutely great and fantastic. Okay.
I thought it was just going to be like, every single time, because I thought that. So that was a very big expectation. And I also, there was a lot of things I brought in from my parents, growing up as well, like, okay, the role of a man, the role of a woman. So like, the woman being the homemaker, the man being this one. And so there was that I brought in, that it wasn't.
Can't hear you.
It wasn't quite what it didn't quite work out, because my husband was concerned about pots and things like that, and I'm like, what's your own with pots? Just leave the pots to me. So I didn't understand. So I'm like, what's your own with pots? What's your own with the bedding that we use, like just leave it. So things like that, so expectations definitely did not match up at all, at all, at all. But they gave us a teaser during marriage counseling, but of course you never really know until you're in it. Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, to me, what about you?
To be honest, I didn't have any expectations. I really didn't. I just knew I was marrying my best friend. I dated Tumi for a very, very long time.
Okay.
So in fact, the marriage to me was long overdue. So it was like, I can't wait to marry my best friend, and we'll just live happily ever after. I know that's for the books, for the storybooks and all that, and for the movies. But I genuinely thought, it would just be happily ever after, because I mean, it's just Tunja and I. We've been dating. I think we dated for almost 10 years plus before we got married.
Wow.
So it was like, we've got this covered. We're not like those other people. We are. So yeah, so that was the only. I didn't have any expectations. I just thought that's what will happen, And we're still friends, like Shola was saying. We're still friends, and because friendship, when everything is done and dusted, friendship is what you have. So we're still friends. But I'm just like, this guy has some funny behavior, So yeah, that was your rude awakening. Yeah. So yeah.
It's always so funny how everybody has, and a lot of couples that you talk to, it's the same thing. I remember, and some of you may have heard my husband talk about this, where the first night, it was next morning actually, he went to the bathroom, and the toothpaste, he said, I'd pressed it from the middle, and he thought, who does this? And that was our first quarrel, the first morning after the wedding. Oh my goodness.
Those little things, Pastor Funke. Sorry,
Yeah.
PFV.
It's okay. Go on.
Those little things, they're just, those are the things, like, do you brush your teeth before breakfast or after breakfast? Do they shower before going downstairs, or they go downstairs and come back? It's just the kids, it's just those little things that you've just grown up differently. And those little things.
Is it when you guys had marriage counseling, did you talk about, okay, well, probably not during marriage counseling, but afterwards, did you guys have that conversation of, oh, so what are you like? What are you, those kind of things? Did you guys ever have those kind of discussions?
For me, I think for me, I really like marriage counseling. We had our marriage counseling at Jesus' house, and I really enjoyed it because one thing that Mrs. Okemi and Buddy, hello, Mr. and Mrs. O, one thing they had said was like, this is a new beginning. You make it what you want it to be. Okay. Don't bring in, the baggage, or this is how we grew up, or this is how I grew up. Don't bring it in. So it's a fresh, clean slate. Yeah. So I think when at times we try to, at times we call default mechanism, you go back to how you were brought up. It helps to know that, oh no, this is us, this is our starting point. So regards that I took away, and the conversation about finances were the two things I was very happy that I was counting. Even though I thought we didn't need it, because like I said, we were dating for a while, but I was really happy with that, because when we got married and Tunji came with this, this is not, he said first week, this is not how you make eggs. When you want to make an omelette, it has to be black pepper and white pepper and then eggs. And I was thinking, I have me now. Just for onions and tomato, rodo. So those are the things. So it was, for me, it was that. And then he had this thing with the toothpaste, where it was like, till now, he's like, why do you have to press in the middle? I'm like, it's toothpaste, it's just toothpaste, calm down. So we're different in those kind of ways. So yeah, but marriage counseling really helpful.
This toothpaste thing, because I've seen someone that says she too doesn't like toothpaste being pressed in the middle. What is the big deal, please? But anyway, we've resolved this in our house. So he has his own toothpaste. I have my own toothpaste. That way we don't quarrel. So if anybody has issues with toothpaste in your marriage, please get separate toothpaste.
That's very good advice.
Yes, that will solve a lot of problems. So, but how did you guys navigate all these initial challenges? Because there are people who probably maybe just got married, or they're going to get married. So how did you guys navigate all these initial challenges? Please buy pump toothpaste.
Actually, we did that.
You
We did
bought
that.
some toothpaste.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. We did that. We did that every time we saw it. Yeah, to because that's exactly my own peeve was opening toothpaste and not putting it back, covering it back. I
Okay.
just did not, and and any yeah. So we had to just get the pump on just to settle issues, and it's wisdom, right? And there's this, there are answers everywhere, so to minimize stress in the home. So yeah.
See, look at, please, Shola, this toothpaste is causing, people are saying, I don't like toothpaste with pressed. Someone saying is neater. Excuse me. It's a matter of preference. It's people that are, even though actually I'm a bit OCT, that might have to press it from the bottom and then slowly wind their way
And
up.
then you now twist the bottom
Yes.
round.
Okay. So it's either you get your own separate toothpaste or you get the pump toothpaste. I guess that will solve the matter. Right. So, yes, how did you guys navigate all these issues? Talk to us. How did you guys get over some of the initial challenges? Stop it. Stop it. Yes. Don't
Okay.
sweat the small stuff.
Okay.
All these
I'll
things.
say for me, how I navigated and still navigate it. We have to understand that it's a journey and it's still ongoing. Is to, like what I said, just choose your battles. What do I want to stress about? Because I am one of those people that I like things done. Even the way you fold your shirt or hang things has to be particular. Like
Sorry, the way
the
you hold
face,
what?
fold things has to be
Okay.
particular, and the way you hang, the hanger has to face a certain direction in
Oh
the
my
cupboard.
goodness.
I'm one. Yes, I am. So it has to face a certain direction, and because I do most of the laundry, and when I have helped you as the helpmate to put your things back, and then you go there and you just that thing makes me go mental. So for me, when I see it, I just go like, okay, it's his thing, like, let me choose my battles. I can't, this is my issue. So I'm understanding that it's my problem. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I cannot put that on him. So I can't get upset with him because at the end of the day, it's my expectation, not him. So
Yeah.
I have to choose my battles, understand that, okay, if this is what I like, keep doing it until one day you understand, or maybe even talk about it, but do not get, because I used to get so upset about things like that. I'm thinking, but don't you care? I put my heart and soul into making this place neat and tidy and fine for you, and then you just come and just do everything. Blah, blah, blah. I know that is messy, don't get me wrong. No, it's not, but you understand what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
just leave it how you found it. So it's just about choosing my battles and also understanding that it's my expectation. So I'm the one that likes it that way. And if obviously it doesn't really stay, then perhaps just sometimes just leave it and close your eyes and just walk away. Focus on your own problems. And obviously it's marriage. So I'm thinking, okay, marriage, let's do it together. Let me be this helpmate that they
Yeah.
tell us to be and do all these things. And then you feel like you're even rejecting my help or you're not accepting these things I'm doing. So I'm learning also that being a helpmate, you can't impose it. You can't impose your helpmate on someone. They have to ask, they have to want it, they have to need it or appreciate it before. So yeah, you go where you're valued, right? And so I just leave that. If he doesn't value that help, then I focus my help on the things that he values more, like maybe giving him time to do his music, giving him time to do some of the things he values more. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's how I cope and how I manage usually. But yeah.
I love that. Like someone said, take ownership. You're the one that has the issue with the OCD. And yeah, help any way which you can. Okay. So, to me, what about you? How do you guys navigate?
Well, how did I navigate? I think in the beginning it was more from a place of we're friends because that's what it is at the end of the day.
Okay.
So for me, I like talking things out, and I'm learning there's not everything that you need to talk it out, talk through rather. So it will be that kind of, what, it's okay, like we're on the same team, and you can have opposing, conversations or opposing decisions. You own what, and we don't have to meet in the middle. So you can just stay awake, and that's fine, you know. At first, then you kind of found it hard because like you always have to agree with what I said. I'm like, no, actually, it's okay for you to agree what I said. I'm like, okay for me. So it's always that. Let's agree to disagree. That's what they call it. So it's always that, or like she said, as in taking ownership of, you know, I don't like this thing, but that's me. And hopefully one day you come round. It's still ongoing though. But I think the most important thing is just know that at the end of the day, if you're friends, then you can either talk it through or pray it through. Like the harder stuff, like, you know, maybe relates to money or big decisions. I kid you not, I just go and pray about it because I'm like, I can't shout. Like I really can't shout and I can't come and kill myself. So all I do is just, you know, pray that if I'm the one that needs to open my eyes and make the decision, if he's the one that needs to convert to my side, then, and it always sorts itself out. So for me, it's just, you can agree to disagree, and I love conquers all, as they say, but it really does sometimes. Sometimes it does. So yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. One thing I keep hearing from both of you is that you guys are friends, and I guess that made a lot of difference. Because a few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with someone who is actually going through a divorce now. And one of the things she said was that they were never friends. And I think people dating or people courting and people who are probably in the marriage, they probably don't understand the importance of being friends with your spouse. Can you guys just talk about that a bit? Because, you know, sometimes, especially when you're dating, you're courting, you just, I'm in love, you know, and you think that love is just going to carry you through. But you need more than that in a marriage relationship or in any relationship. So can you guys touch on that a bit, about this friendship bit, how that has helped you guys in your marriage?
I'll let Tumi go first.
Yes, Tumi.
I think it's really important because yes, you love the person, but do you like the person? Like, do you like who this person is? You know, if they were not, you know, your spouse, can they be your friend really? Like, this is someone you would hang out outside of marriage. And I think that's one of the things that really helped Tunji and I, because I genuinely enjoy his company. Like everyone knows, if you leave me to myself, I will be in my house with my family and I will not leave my house because I genuinely like hanging out because he's fun. So I think for me, it was just because they always say, even when passion dies and when you guys grow old and nobody's looking sexy anymore, and there's no, that friendship is what stands the test of time. And when you know you have this person in your corner, you look out for that person, and basically it's like loving yourself. So basically the person has been, you and the person are one, and that's what the Bible says, right? So if this person, you wouldn't treat the person how you wouldn't want to be treated. And I think at the beginning, when you and I have, you know, maybe we'll have an argument of like, I'm not your enemy, I'm in your corner, I'm actually in your corner. Like we might come from different, see things in a different way, but the crux of it is that I want the best for you. So it might not be how you want it to be, but I have your back. Just always know that. So that always helps to know that, you know what, this person, that's my person. The person has my back. So yeah, so friendship is really crucial for me.
In fact, that thing is so true. I think somebody, I can't remember if it was Larry or Bumi that mentioned it last week on Hangout, to ask yourself, do you even like this person? If we are not even going to get married, would you still be friends with this person? It's so crucial. Shola?
Yeah. You know what? Thank you for saying that, because I remember when I first met Lex, he wasn't who I had on paper. You know what I mean? Like the spec, you know, that we all have.
Tell us what was the spec. Tell us the spec that
you know, that book, that list of, and because it was never in my scene, you know, it was never there, you know, there were other people
handsome, very handsome. It wasn't just handsome.
No, but let me land. Like, but it just wasn't in my. There were others, you know what I mean? That I was like, you know, there around me, more around me, that I thought, okay, you know, these ones are the ones that, you know, most like. And then when he came from almost nowhere, we started talking, and honestly, I didn't think we would get married. I just thought, okay, you know, new guy, talks with an accent, you know, funny, you know, maybe he's going to lose it one day. But I thought, okay, this guy genuinely actually cares. And we became friends. I don't think that I could have gotten married to him without having that friendship with him first, because first of all, it wasn't the person I normally would, don't get me wrong. Not date, because he's a fantastic person. This fantastic man. He cares. He listens. He does all those extra things that God has seen, gone far ahead of you, and really ticked for you, and written, this is what you need. And then all those physical and superficial things, I guess, like, forget all these things. But what I'm trying to say is that the friendship was what made it crucial. And it made it more meaningful when when he asked me. It was almost like, it became my friend. We could talk for hours, just on the phone for hours, just gisting. And this wasn't love, like people's in. Not that we didn't love each other, don't get me wrong. It wasn't like, oh, I'm in love, my heart is green, 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 those things that we've all experienced in the past. It was more genuine, just hanging out with this guy and being friends with him and being able to talk to him about everything. And that was what kept us going, even whilst we're dating. And then eventually, when you said, oh, married, then we got married. But most importantly, in marriage, oh my God, I've understood the importance of friendship even more, because passion and all that, marriage can be quite perfunctory. There was that word, it's just, oh yeah, you're just working through life, you have kids. So, and without friendship, you guys can just forget yourselves. Someone is doing that, you guys just come, okay, what are you doing today? Okay, you're doing that with the kids, I'm doing that, okay, bye-bye. Who's paying the bills? It's easy. Now I see that it's so easy, and I understand why people can be married but live very separate lives if you're not friends. But the friendship is what keeps us together. Things like date nights, when we hang out together, just, I'm in my office, he comes in with gist, or maybe he's in the studio, I go in there and I just sit with him and say, okay, what are you doing? Just, and more of that, because to be honest, sometimes the friendship part sort of fizzles, and then it becomes perfunctory, and then you come back to friendship. So that's why it's important to at least have that baseline, so that you can always come back to it when things become so, when you're just living through each day, for the kids, because kids do come into the equation.
What I liked what you just said, Shona, because I think sometimes people think that, when you're married, everything's going to be high, the romance is going to be up there all the time. But you say sometimes you go in and out. Sometimes sometimes you just want to kill that person. Oh, why did I marry this person? But you see, I guess the mature mind knows that this thing, one day it's hot, another day it's cold. But that doesn't mean I'm going to leave the marriage. That's what you were trying to say, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh God, if you could put a torch through a woman's mind, I don't think anyone should ever do that, because the thoughts, oh my goodness. In 1 minute, you could be thinking, I'm thinking, oh my God, the voices in my head, like, just stop it. Every single day, I'm trying to maintain, God, please, when that Bible, that scripture that says, whatever is lovely, whatever is excellent, period of good
Yes.
reports, think of these things. I'm like, God, I think of these things. I see my husband as you see him. He's a king, he's a this. You talk yourself to what you want to see, if you know what I mean, in your mind.
Like what Shola was saying earlier about, because when I met Tunji, he came with someone who was toasting me, like how they say this, like the guy was like, oh, come with me to this girl's house,
Okay.
and so he came and then I hit it off with him. So it was just because we knew, he had mutual friends, and which we didn't even know, because of course first year in university, that's how I met him. And of course, at that time, because I was my first year, there were many guys with different names, and the names all sounded the same. So I think a week later, I saw him, or he saw me, and he was like, "Oh, hello again." So I'm like, "I can't remember you." And he thought I was actually posing, like, did I not just come to your house? What's wrong with you? You and many others, I think so, So I was like, yeah, Tunde. He was like, no, Tunji. So it was a bit irritated. And from there, we were friends, and because I was dating someone at the time, so it was actually my friend. And when I stopped dating the person, we just got talking, and from then on, it was like, this guy is really fun. He makes me laugh, and that was what it was. And like what Shola was saying, so it's in and out. So even though I've known him for a long time, even though we've been friends for ages, at times I still just but I'm learning to hold my not my new thing, but what I'm going with is learning to hold my tongue, because I'm quite vocal. So I don't say all the things I'm thinking. It's important I do not say it. So most of the time I'm just like, take a deep breath, that kind of thing. So yeah, it does go in and out of friendship, and but that's what keeps it going, really.
I have to tell you guys this. sometimes, especially at church, when my husband travels, and people come up to me initially. So when they come up to me and they say, "Oh, are you missing him?" I was like, "No, I'm having a break." But then my sisters will be like, "Ah, this woman." So now I just smile and say, "Yes, but a woman sometimes needs a break. She just needs to have a space. Come on, people."
You know, that is so real. Oh my God.
It's
You
true.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want that. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's talk more for people who may be struggling right now, because sometimes there are challenges in marriage, as we all know. What are the intentional things that you do to keep romance alive in your marriages? What are the intentional things that you do?
Mm.
I'll tell you the classic things people say we should do. Date nights,
The
right? Every week, date nights. The intentional thing. That's a very good question. And I think that one has to be really honest. Date nights are good, but when kids are in the equation, they can be a bit tricky.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
that is a very hard question to answer. But I would say that from my own, what we do, sometimes I come to my senses and think, wait, so we have not even been like, how about we come? So it's not, should I say it's intentional? Pastor Funk, I mean, PFA. It's hard. When it comes to keeping romance alive in a
yeah,
marriage,
yeah.
it's one thing that where we need to be more schooled on, because we have this textbook things to do.
Idea, yes.
Yeah, textbook things to do, but it's not always the case.
Yeah,
So I would say the most intentional thing I do is
yeah.
I walk around the house naked. That's the most intentional thing I do. Especially when I'm like, okay, we haven't, because that I know would get attention, that would get, that would get a response, that would get fire come, that always solves a lot of things. That is the most intentional thing that I do,
Yeah,
when I feel like, okay, let's rekindle things.
yeah.
But date night is always on the books to do. But however, do we do it every time? Truth be told, not really. So yeah.
I actually love your honesty, Shola, because it's so true. We always have this um, things that people, especially if you're on social media, oh, date night, people post
Yeah.
pictures, date nights with hubby, date night. The reality is, how many people, especially when you have kids, how many people actually get to do that? To actually go on date nights when you have kids. I mean, I guess you can find a friend or two, but how often will your friends take your kids? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough one, but I love the idea of walking around it.
No, but that honestly, that solves a multitude. That just makes everyone
So
calm
what? I
down.
guess this is when the kids are asleep.
Of course, this is, and this is sometimes, it's so, oh, are you trying to get attention? I'm like, I don't know. What do you think? And then that but it always, so that is, for me personally, that is my, something that I tend to just put in there. Of course, he doesn't know that it's planned. It just thinks I'm doing, maybe. But yes, so that is the most intentional thing that I do.
Okay.
Um,
Guys, please, if you've got questions for them, please send the questions, put them in the question box. Stop. Reddit just said that you enjoyed while it
oh,
lasts.
you lock the door, mate.
Oh yes, you can lock the door. When
Sorry,
the
can
kid,
I just say something? I'm
yes,
sorry, I'm talking too much.
no, 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 you're
One
fine.
thing, something that's been happening since I've been real, right?
Yeah,
Oh, my kids,
yeah.
they get in the way of, keeping romance alive, right? They get in the way because in the middle of the night, you can just say, Daddy, mommy, and I'm thinking, what are you looking for? Like, and it's always very well timed. And and it's happened so many times that it's like I'm just like, God, how do we solve this problem? So I think, I've been telling Nick, I think an intentional thing to do is put locks on our door. But it's not safe for the kids, and we shouldn't have locks on the door. But I'm like, it's not safe for our marriage either. Like,
Yeah.
hello, I don't want kids coming. Oh gosh, we've had so many
Or maybe
funny
you put a
episodes.
chair or something behind the door.
So many episodes, but yeah, so that is an intentional thing to do. Yeah.
I know someone who, oh my gosh, I remember years ago, she was telling us about how, just trying to find time that sometimes they're watching TV, the kids fall asleep on the floor, and she's like, her husband, come on. And they're trying to be romantic in front of the TV, and then a kid is trying to wake up, and she's like, don't wake up, patting the child. But when she was telling us, I was laughing so much. Oh my goodness. Tumi, what about you?
I'm not walking around.
You're not walking around.
No, I'm always scantily clad anyway. So, but I'm not walking around naked. But that doesn't do anything because I'm always half dressed. Anyway, that there with the pandemic, it hasn't made it any better. But I think for me, it's just that, like Shola was saying, we don't have date nights often, but we make date nights in the house. So there's always popcorn and there's a movie to watch. There's Netflix and chill, that kind of thing. So while the kids are sent to bed or, so there's always that. And I think for us, in the times when, the storms, or even when we have to make our time, even when things are not going that great, is talking. So having that chat to say, it's very easy to just be in the house and just coexist. It's just that what's been up with you? And from talking, and then we start to reminisce. Like, I remember when we used to do this. I was actually talking that. I can't remember when at the beginning we used to part of the thing was have fun with ice or with strawberry. If you touch me with ice now, I will slap. I'll be strawberries, but now I'm thinking of the sheets. I'm like, don't get the sheets. All kind of and
ice baby.
Oh. I guess me, I'm probably very old fashioned. I don't think we ever tried anything with ice and strawberries. But hey, okay.
Like that list. That list you said of things that people saw were like, okay, and the weekend was like, oh, this is nice. I can't. I'm like, uncle, the sheets. I have to change the sheets. Something. But even now, we try to do things like music. I'm like, I remember when we used to listen to music and then, just, the get down, cookies and cream to music. I know, so those kind of things. But I think because, like you said, it's just being intentional, where if we can't do date night, we can bring date night home or just hang out or just talk, or there's just always something to do. But it's not as often as, I don't think about it often, which I will do, because, yeah, it is a hard question because there's no intention with me. So it happens or we do it. But with Tunji is always on the go. He doesn't need any music, doesn't need any, doesn't need you to walk scantily clad. He just I was telling once that even if you have Ebola, you will still walk with the package. Like, you're so wrong on all levels. So for him, it's like he does it. He's just like, look, let's go. So I think for me, it's just that Tunji is the one I would say that brings the romance in. Because romance is not, of course, it's not just the cookies and cream, but he's just very, it's been long now, come and talk to me, that kind of thing. So yeah.
I think, with being intentional as well, it's important to talk. Because, in marriage, like what Tumi said, like, it's not everything that you think that you say. And sometimes because you're not saying a lot of things, you start to shrivel, you start to hold back, that you don't even crave intimacy. Like, it's there, but you need to do it, but you don't actually crave it, and you're okay. And and you're both of you are sort of just living your lives, but you're friends, but you're not craving it because there's so many unspoken things, so I think being intentional is also really being honest with each other and being able to talk and and open up to each other. Because I've found actually for myself that I have a lot of buttons that one needs to press to, to literally I don't want to use the word turn me on, because that's not what I mean. When there's a lot of buttons, because a woman has so many layers and layers of emotions. And when you don't talk, you start to retreat, because, and you just start performing, start doing, as opposed to being and really being present. And what's the point of intimacy when you're not present? I mean, that's even worse. So an intentional action will be to talk about things, issues that are weighing on your heart, and really be open in a marriage. I'm married to you for life. So if I can't talk to you, who can I talk to? Like, hello. So I'm learning to be real, honestly, because some people say, but you're too open and blunt. I'm like, it's not about being blunt. If I don't like flowers from Tesco, say it. I don't like flowers from Tesco. I prefer flowers from M&S. If that's what I prefer, say what you prefer. Because when you get me flowers from Tesco, I like, this man again has gone to petrol station and just bought me flowers. I don't want that. So I'm learning really that there's nothing wrong with, of course, do it in love and be gentle. Don't just throw it in his face. No, not that way. But it's important to, because you may think, oh, doing that means that he doesn't really value me. So all these other things, obviously that's not the truth, but you've already put these things in this mindset in your head that, oh, he's doing this because it doesn't make time for me. He's just doing what is convenient. And that makes you hold up, oh, I don't feel loved. I don't feel cherished. And so intimacy is not there. You're not even craving that. So the intentionality is spend time to talk and trash things out so that you can open up, because women, you can open up and you can let him in, because sometimes I don't even want no one coming, like, don't even go there, like, don't. So that's really me.
What you said is so true, Shola. Communication is key in marriage. It is so important.
Wait, I wanted to say something about what added to what Shola said. I went Shola about the flowers. So we tuned it like it's just flowers, So he was always bringing this Tesco flower, and of course I would just have to smile and just. So second time, I'm like, I don't like Tesco flowers. So.
I really, I have so many things in common.
It's just flower, and no, it's not just flower. In fact, it dies after 2 days now, so it's not just flower. So this guy will still be. I think he couldn't hear, so he'll still be bringing Tesco flowers. Do you know what I started doing? I ordered myself flowers, though. Father Lord, I started ordering myself flowers. Those, the delivery flowers. I can't remember the bloom and wild.
Yeah, bloom and wild. Yes.
The first time I arrived in the house, I was like, yes. Valentine's Day, I ordered it for myself. Put it in one nice vase by the window. Birthday, got it for myself. He didn't need any, as in everything I was. So next thing he did was, and I can't remember what else was coming up, and I had ordered it. I said, don't order it. I've ordered it from your special place. So I was not sure what I had. So my flowers came and his flowers came. I was like, how are you ordering flowers for yourself? I'm like, because it seems as if you didn't hear the fact I said I don't like.
Thank you.
I don't like. I mean, that's just a flower. I don't like it. And then he said ordering from there, And I have a very good friend who he would call, because he would call to get me gifts, as in what kind of gifts would to me want. Because he also wanted that kind of thing where he's like, tell me what gifts you want. Why am I telling you? There's no my surprise. Don't let me tell you the gift. You spoil the whole thing. Or you say, send me a link to the jewel you want. Send you a link there. Then I might as well buy it for myself. So I started buying my presents for myself. Like, I just started buying for myself. Since there's no more, we're not hiding anything. Instead of send to you, I'll send it to myself and buy it for myself. So I think with that, he was like, okay, this girl's going too extreme. And then he now started doing that. I don't want to be surprised. Like, I surprise you, surprise me. That kind of thing. So he's gone back to, I'll surprise you now. So for me, I'm blunt as I say what it is, because I can't come and die. I guess because also
Can't come and die.
we've been in it for too long. I can't keep it in. So if I've told you with a smile, if I've told you with a laugh, if I've quickly, I'll come back. I can't come and die. And then hopefully it takes me.
Yeah. You know what? I'll say something, and please, I really hope Lekon doesn't watch this. And it's not, to what you said to me about gifts and communication, and this is intentionality. You really have to, because I remember, me asking, myself for something small. In my eyes, it's small. It's nothing big. For 2 years, we're still waiting. Like, this thing is small. You're giving it to other people. Like, it's small. Now I'm like, let's sit together. I think you're not hearing. And these are things that for women in marriage, if you don't talk about it, if you say, just, let it go, forgive and forget, and don't get me wrong, you forgive, but I'm like, but this, if we don't deal with this, it would always be at the back of my mind that we did not resolve this issue. It's a small thing, but he didn't give it. And obviously for him, it's not thinking, I want to hurt Shola. I want to do something mean. I don't want to listen to her. It's not, but it's just about, I don't know. I guess sometimes men don't always understand the need for those small things that, you know, and what it says to you. And so it's really sitting with him, like what you do to me. It's okay. Let's do this thing now because it means a lot to me. And it doesn't have to always get there, but the reality is sometimes that it does.
Yeah.
It does, because yeah, that's just how it is. And I think that's an intentional thing to do, to really be open and honest with yourselves, and also what do you like, what ticks your button. If you don't, you'll just keep retreating and your marriage is just like blah.
So communication is key. Be open, talk to each other. Okay, someone asked the question, because I think we're probably having challenges with the comment box or the question box. So how do you deal with different levels of sex drive in a marriage? Okay, to me, answer.
So like for me, I don't think I have a high sex drive. Well, definitely not as high as Stringy's. He can have it like 3 times a day if possible. You know, it's food. You know, it's food. For me, I'm just like, people are dying in the world. There's hunger. Like there are things to do. There's work. You know. So we meet in the middle. So like for him, it's like minimum like 3 times a week. Like maybe except you're on your period or something, but 3 times a week. That is the minimum. But like that is for him. That's like I'm meeting in the middle. You know. So I'm just like, no matter what's going on with me, I try to make sure that 3 times a week. Like it's not like we schedule it, but it's that kind of. You know, 20, yeah.
He just takes it.
And he's like, okay. And he's like, this headache, just take Panadol for the headache. Like, you can't now be saying, I have headaches, so I cannot do anything. Take Panadol and take it ahead of time so that we can get down. Or, you know, that's why, because like, get down, as in, so next time you want McDonald's, as time you want this 3-course meal, that kind of, okay, let's quickly do McDonald's, then let's make it a quickie. But you cannot come and say, I know I said 3 times, but you see, this head is really hurting. He's like, it will hurt, but you want Panadol. And that's when he's even laughing, that even scares me, because like, you want water, anything to be raised. So yeah, so you meeting for me. So the answer to the question, sorry, the long answer to your question is meeting in the middle. As in, I'm not going to be having sex 3 times a day, or 2 times, or once. So we meet in the middle to know that, okay, you know what? As long as everyone is satisfied, you have yours, I have mine, and we meet in the middle. That's it.
I think the more challenge is having the same sex drive. I think that is even more challenging, especially if it's on the other side.
Okay.
If it's the low, if you're both low or both, both high, is obviously you guys can do. But when you're both like, then I think that's a bigger challenge in any marriage, because then you probably
so you guys now deliberately have to be intentional.
Exactly, intentional about it, or find the reason why. I don't know. I think that's the bigger challenge in any marriage. If both of you can do for months and days without having it, and it's okay, and you're still friends.
Yeah. Is it a challenge though if both of you don't want it all the time? Or it's fine?
It is, because then obviously there's a space, there's a role that sex plays in a marriage.
Okay. So
and if you're not having it, or if you're not even desiring it, then there must be something fundamentally, I don't want to say wrong, but it's something you need to your intentionality has to even go a bit high. You really have to look at the root cause of it. Why is it this way? It may be emotions and hurts and feelings and lack of communication, all that we've spoken about. But I think that's a bigger challenge in a lot of marriages, actually, is that the husband is getting satisfaction from somewhere else, maybe a passion, a hobby, a job, and the wife is also focusing on kids, on our own lifestyle and everything. And hey, we say hello, we sleep in the same bed, you're roommates, but you're not really intimate. I think that's what is more popular in I'm not going to speak for everybody, but that's a challenge, and that's something that one needs to even work on it a lot more.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Would you just put that it's not just communication, because you can say we're talking, but they're not be real about talking. So it's about being real and having the space. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree with you. Okay, so let's start with you, Shola, because I know that you were a bit apprehensive about having children before you had children. So what has it been like for you? How did you cope?
I mean, I grew up in a very big family with 10 kids. And I remember when I think pregnancy was the biggest challenge for me. And then obviously when kids came, I had to deal with them. Sorry, the way I say it, I do it. I sound so mean. But anyway, no. But pregnancy was one challenge because even the thought of pregnancy used to make me throw up.
Yeah.
Or the going or seeing people pregnant or going to hospitals, I will be the one fainting. I like even just going there, I'll be like passing out. The doctors are on me, and it's happened to me a few times where they're fanning me. I'm thinking, what is wrong with me? So first of all, I had to overcome that challenge through prayer. It was prayer that was actually a real thing, even through prayer to overcome that. And then when the kids came, it wasn't that I didn't want children. Of course, I wanted children, but my challenge with having kids is that, will I be able to really raise them and give them am I equipped enough? Because I still see myself as having all this, still learning through life. I'm like, what do I have to pass on to, to the kids that I'm raising, or my children? So what it's been like now, it's obviously not any of not any of the fears that I had. Definitely not. The challenges with obviously motherhood, your time not being your time anymore. That has actually been a blessing for me, because then you start to see how you're used as a funnel, challenge to be a blessing, where your children now becomes even your driving force to be better in life. So for me, it's been one of my passion, one of the things that drive me, my children, to be better with my time management, with my organization, with love, being intentional about things they watch, things they, making sure I give them the best. So it's making me a better person simultaneously. So that's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Well done.
So
Well
so
done.
definitely none of the fears that I had. And I had those fears because I grew up in a polygamous home, and I saw all the everything going on there, and I just like, well, I don't want to. There's a lot that there's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And honestly, when someone tells me, they don't want children and all that, I probably was of that sort of like, yeah, children will be okay. But now I want more, because I think it's such a blessing to have kids. But when someone tells me that they don't want to have kids, they just want their life without kids, I sort of understand. If you know what I mean, I understand. But
that was
now,
because of your
yes,
upbringing.
yes, I understand, because you don't want to pass on your own failure, well, what you think is a failure, your own flaws
Yeah.
onto another child, and then another damaged kid or something. But I feel like, because you know better, or because you've gone through a certain thing in your life, you do your best to do better. I mean,
Yes.
normally that's what you should, right?
Yeah.
But I do know some moms that really pass on all the nastiness to their children as well. So really, it's by God's grace and understanding who you are, your role as a mother, your spiritual role as a mother, as a wife, and that you're only a funnel, you're only a custodian of God's blessings. So give them to God, but also let God develop you so that you can develop them. So that's what I've learned as a mom. And yeah, my children definitely are the reason that I do my marriage, because I owe it to them to give them the best, because by giving them the best, they make me a lot better. A lot better. Yeah.
Well
Oh
done,
wow.
Shala. Really well done. Seriously. No, I don't want to use the word proud, because I've seen the change, how you've changed over the years. That's really amazing. Well done. Well done. And thanks for being honest. Thank you. Tumi, what
Wow.
about you?
Sorry, I'm just still in awe of all that Shola said. So yeah, I think for me, with regards to the kids, I think in the first place, like Shola was saying, you have these things that are passed down to you, like how you were parented.
Yeah.
So there's a likelihood that you parent your kids the same way.
Yeah.
So I have two. There's 5 years gap between them. So the first one, I parented with this is what you do. You shout, you smack, and found out that it wasn't working. Because at the end of the day, you're supposed to. I know, of course, you say things, spread the word, and spoil the child. You spread the word, and spoil the child. I can't let any child come and disgrace me. And I think actually the rod was for sheep. You don't see any shepherd beating their sheep with the rod. It was to guide. It was to nurture. It was basically to guide.
Oh, I love that. I
It's the
love
guide.
that. I love that.
That's what the rod was, in the Bible. And of course, learning, because I'm part of prayer groups. I have friends. I'm watching, reading things online now where it's like, we're supposed to nurture and build up these children. So your words must build up, because if not, you have this, pass on this legacy of smacking and beating and shouting and, molding this child. Those students who pass on, that's what my mother did to me. So let me pass that on to my children. And it's not right. So for me, with the younger one, so she has a different, parenting, but now, I'm not friends with my kids, but I know that there's love, because I don't mind repeating the same thing all the time.
Okay.
I'm building them up. I am building them up with my words. So, and your home is a safe space where if people treat them funny outside, they're like, I'm not treated that way at home. I'd rather say, oh, well, this is how they treat me at home too. So people, someone can be your friend, but the person is allowed to shout at you or treat you shabbily because, they still love you. Doesn't mean they don't, because they see that at home. So for me, it was just that, paradigm shift or mind set change, where it's like, you know what? I am going to build up my child with the words that God says about them. So even when my children, trust me, they will get on your last name. So my girls, they know this. We have seen when I'm like, okay, so I always know it's a joke, like, do you want the British mommy or do you want the African mommy? Which one do you want? No, they're like, so I'm like, or they say something like, what God was here, but he says, like, I'm scared. No, God says you're bold, just trying to use the scriptures and teach them the word and all of that. But at the end of the day, I like the relationship we have now. I know that many people have played a role to me getting there. I've seen, I had a school mom who was like, when she says I'm disappointed to her child, like her child, she can die because that word, because you use your words, and that's what we tell our kids, use your words. So why are you shouting and smacking and beating? And use your words, where you teach those children to also use their words, where they don't think because someone has obsessed I should hit the person, or you don't think because someone has, so let me be mean back to the person. It's just your safe space, and you're molding them and you're teaching them and you're building them. My relationship with my kids is so much better for it because we laugh together. Even when they do something. So with regards to parenting, I follow through. So if I'm like, I don't like what you did, and something has to go. You got, as in, you're not going to go to this place. If you see the way they behave, I'm like, this thing is more effective than the beating. As in, like you take away a treat or something, I'm thinking, this is actually better, So I think, regards to parenting, I'm still learning because I'm still part of parent groups. I have a lovely lady who is not even a mom, who taught me, who spoke to me about how, you are making another, like they say, kids are your heart running outside of your body. So you're building another you. So like I said, I can see how people are very hesitant to have kids because there are many damaged people walking around and like, well, I did that when my parents beat me too. We're dysfunctional, walking around thinking that that's okay. So I think that it's, when you think of nurture and the fact that God, we are their custodians. So when God says, what did you do with that child? Like, did you nurture that child? So like God's going to ask you to give account of what did you do with this child? What that child I gave? What are you going to say? Especially when people say things like, I don't want child disgracing me. So it's not about you. It's not about the child disgracing you because I'm going to punish. It's not about punishing. It's about that child and that child being a better, parent, or being a better friend, or being a better, basically being useful to their society. So that's how I see it. And so I'm mindful of that in what I do now. I'm like, the words I say, because I see the effects. Like when you build them up with your words, when you're like, of course you can do it. Of course, you know what God says about you. Or you understand. I see the smile. I'm saying, like even till when they can't, my little one couldn't stay for a while. And she was like, well, I have to come to your bed. And she was not making the habit to come into the bed. And I'm scared. I'm like, no, God says that your sleep will be sweet. That when you rest. So she knows the word now. So as she's coming, I'm telling her from the door. You know what God says? Meditate upon that scripture and go to your bed, So I think for me, it's just, it's a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility that I think that parents should. It's important. It really is, and I'm glad that I have someone to deal with because Tunji at first, because we both grew up in that Nigerian upbringing where before you send there's a hit and there's a smack and there's and so he was like, so for him was like, they will sport. This will be sport. I was like, no, actually, they wouldn't be because words will matter to them. Where they're like, oh, you know what? At times, even the eye, I still have the Nigerian, the Yoruba mother's eyes where I'm just like, just quickly arrange it. Especially when we're somewhere where they are, English people. And so if I end on this note, we're on the train some months ago, and there was a girl, an English girl with her mom, and the girl was on her phone, and her mom kept on trying to watch her dinner. She's like, "Oh, shut up, mom! Don't do that." She wasn't. I didn't even hear. My sister just looked at me. She kept on saying, "Oh," she said, "Did you hear that girl? I would die. Like you would kill me if I tried that with you." Yes. So they're still respectful. You're still building up this individual. So it's not like they will not be respectful.
Yeah.
But bring a child up in the way that it should go, because that child is going to pass on whatever it is you're passing on to them. Like Shola said, pop for now. So yeah, that's me done.
Wow. Well done. Well done. Wow.
I want to say one thing about being a mom, and I don't know, it just really impressed me. I feel like, you know, we Christians, especially when if you're able to, or God has given, you know, blessed you with, and if you desire to,
Yeah.
I don't think we should hold back on having more children.
We should hold back.
Because no, I believe that, you know, and this might be just my experience, and I'm not trying to hint anybody here, so don't ask me if you know, I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with populating the earth with Christian children, with light, you know, because that is what God has called us to do, you know, be fruitful, multiply, you know, and you know, we always, there's a lot of, you know, us, oh, you know, I can only manage to, you know, what about school fees? What about this? What about that? And for me, it's about you're limiting God in his ability to help you. Because are you the one looking after the two, even the one that you have? So that's the first thing I want to say, that if it's your desire, of course, to have more, there's never think you have to have it all together, or your finances has to be before you do that. Because if God has placed in your heart, then there's a gift that God, it's light. I mean, why not? Because children, you know, these are the light of the world, and there are no Christian kids out there, then who's going to make the big difference if we're all thinking about our budget and our money, you know, and all that, you know, as opposed to thinking about God and his commission to us as Christians. So that's first thing I want to say. We need more godly seeds, generally. And then the second thing is about, this is a no judgment zone. So if you know, it's okay to not get it right. You know, it's okay when you shout on them sometimes, like, it's okay. It's a no judgment zone. It's fine. You know, we're all working it out, and God will give you the grace and the capacity. Remember, you're also working on yourself as you're working on the kids. You're becoming better as they're becoming better. So that's something I'm learning as well. That Shola, don't think, oh, I'm such a terrible mom, or my child has just embarrassed me by hitting another child. Oh, what am I teaching them? Oh, maybe because we shout. Maybe I'm like, no. It's okay. I'll pick it up from where we ended, and let's make today a better day. And even if today it doesn't go so well, tomorrow. So it's we just keep striving to be better. And yeah, that's what
the truth is that there are no perfect parents, no perfect mom or dad. Everybody, we're all learning. You know, I used to, when I had when kids were younger, I used to feel under a lot of pressure with parents who, you know, everything was perfect. They knew when their child took their first walk. They knew when their child spoke first. You know, their child were always in one thing or the other. I used to, oh my goodness, me, I can't even remember. What did she weigh? I can't remember what she weighed. You know, those kind of things. But you know, as you grow older, you just think it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My child did not get A's, all A's, or my child did not get first class or whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, to have kids that are godly, kids that are respectful, then that's fine. And even when the kids are not, because sometimes kids misbehave, no matter how much you try. The most important thing is that you love them, you know, and they know that they can always come home and come back to you. And, you know, there's a loving environment. So let's not, please, parents, let's not put ourselves under all those pressures that society tries to put us on. Oh, you have to be this, you have to be that. It's not a big deal. Wow. Okay. Last thing before we go. You guys both work. How do you cope? Now, this is actually something I would love to talk about as a separate session, but just briefly, how do you cope? You know, marriage, work, married, parenting, and then work. How do you balance all these things?
Well, I think for me, it's the fact that knowing that Tunji, we're doing it together. We're doing it together. I think for a long time I thought it had to be me. I had to do all these things. That no, I don't. So I said I don't know what they eat or what they eat, and that's okay too. So I think for being a working, and it's very important. It's helpful to have a spouse who helps, who's committed as well with you to do it together. So if somebody is cooking, somebody's working. If somebody's working, somebody's dropping the kids. It's always doing it together. It makes it so much easier that way where you're doing it. And of course, for the moms that are single, I doff my hats to them.
Yes.
It's just
Oh,
not like you said, you can't do it all.
no.
So that sometimes the house will be untidy, then the house is untidy.
Yeah.
There's sometimes that things will never be perfect, and that's fine too. So I think for me, it's just that knowing where me stops. So like knowing where it stops, where to know what to say, just take it as in take a step back, or just leave it.
Mm.
So when I'm on point, I'm on point. When I'm not, I'm not. So for me, it's not. I love the fact that I work, and I think it's a good thing. So, and those that don't work, it doesn't matter. But for me, it's just that knowing that there's a balance with everything, and knowing when to let go and when to just pick it up, and knowing that it's not like I said, it's really not a big deal. I mean, if you love your home being tidy and all that, that's fine. If you can't be bothered, that's also fine.
Yeah.
But I think once we have that environment where that is loving, that is caring, that the kids thriving, that's fantastic. And having a helpful spouse is good. Like I said, if you don't have one, find the balance. But self-care is so important. Self-care is really, really important. Like we found out during the pandemic, mental health.
Oh, yes.
Being able to say, you know what, I can't do more than this. There's sometimes even not for you, I will not meddle on Saturdays. I'm in bed like all day and I don't do anything. And Tumi does all of it. And sometimes he just takes a chill pill and I do all of it. But I know where to stop, and yeah. So yeah, just knowing where you end and just keeping that balance. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I second everything you've said, and what I'll just add is allow your partner, if you have, allow and bring them in early. Like, don't say this is what women do. If he wants to do dishes, like do the dishes and mop the floor and clean the kitchen. Like just do it. That's what I've learned. Allow it. And because once you start saying this is my no. This is our home. We both live in it.
Yeah.
This is our children. They need to eat. Let's figure it out together. Don't, you're not asking me what are the kids eating. I'll ask you, what are the kids eating? Like, what are the kids eating? Let's decide, because, sometimes, we always say, oh, the woman, and yes, if you're able to, please, by all means, be organized, have a rota, have that and that. But even when you do that, bring the man in, let him own responsibilities within the house. And when he wants to move to do your own stuff, it's okay.
Yeah.
Take it on, because I'll tell you, there are days where I sleep in, and then I was already done, dressed the kids for school, everything, about to take them to school, and I haven't even woken up. And for me, that guilt mind will telling me, Shola, you're allowing him to do everything. Like, allow yourself, go to bed. Like, it's okay, stay in bed, because you also do all these things, and he doesn't feel guilty when you're doing these things. So why should you? So allow him is what I would say. So don't try to be superwoman and say, oh, you need to do that. Allow him, but also recognize the grace that you have as a helpmate. Because I feel like I particularly feel like women are the best creatures I'm so pro woman. It's unreal, because I think we're just amazing, because the capacity God has given us is beyond words. I don't even know how. And I think, when the word helpmate, don't take that word as for granted. It is actually a place of honor when you're the one that is really moving things along in the house. Yes, it's a place of honor, because you're driving him to our destiny, your children's destiny, your role in the home. My role in the home is so I'm starting to see that the role of a helpmate is a boss lady role. If you know what I mean. You really need to understand. I don't want to go into that, because the Holy Spirit told me this morning that being a helper is like the Holy Spirit, being the role of the Holy Spirit in your home. You say, God, our helper, because that's what you are. You're the one that you have insight, you have foresight, you think things ahead. That's why the woman always thinks, oh, there's gymnastics, there's that. You already have thought of all these things, the calendar for next term, because you have the capacity to.
Yes.
That's why. It's not because it's because you have the capacity. And if he doesn't think that way, it's okay, because that's not his role. So embrace your role as a helpmate and harness that. And don't think that, oh, I'm the one to do everything. No, it's a gift. It's a calling. It's a position that God has given us. And we really need to start seeing it differently. It's a place of strength. So just wanted to say that.
Fantastic. I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. And also, ladies, women, please. We're not, in fact, I don't even like when people use strong woman, superwoman. We are not, please. So let's stop that. And because again, it puts pressure on people that are not, that
Yeah.
don't feel they have that strength. They are not able. But yes, and Shola is right. We have
Yep.
capacity.
Yep.
But again, it is a grace that God has given us. So to me, yes.
Sorry, final thought is just and it's never too late to involve the man. You know, you don't think, okay, I didn't start from, you know, we didn't start like that. It's never too late. I started working like how many years into marriage? And I remember when I was the first time I was going to work, my husband was like, he rushed after me. I was like, what would they have for lunch? I was like, whatever you give them, my love. So, you know, it's just that, you know, knowing that I'm not starting, I'm not, and I really would not worry. So I think for me, it's just like, it's never, they don't think, oh, we've been 20 years married now, how am I going to have been doing all this while? No. It's just, can you help? And then ask, like you said, allow them, not only allow, ask, can you help me do this? Even if he doesn't do well. Like I remember the first time Tumi made jollof rice. You had to go on YouTube to make it. We had it like that too. Yeah. You know, like I know that kind of thing. So, because like you said, he's also a parent, you know. So basically, just ask for help, ask for that help. Even if you say, oh, he should know. No, he's not a mind reader. You know, maybe ask him.
Yeah.
So I think just that's important as well. So.
Do you know, as you know, I just remembered that we sometimes we sweat the small stuff. You know, like you said, the children won't die. Let them eat whatever he wants.
I remember
whatever he makes.
I think I went away with friends or something, and I got back because I think for like a whole day they had been eating prawn crackers. I thought, my mind, I was like, yeah, prawn crackers. I said, wow, prawn crackers, really? But that's what he gave them to eat. Or when, you know, like, you know how we have mashed potatoes, bangers and mash.
Yeah.
And the sausage had finished. My daddy husband used the fufu, or was in your day? I was like, what the heck? But the kids didn't know any different. So they just ate it like that. So I think, yeah, ask for that help. Allow them and then ask for the help. Ask for it. No matter how many times you have to keep repeating yourself. Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that?
Yeah.
And even if they don't do it as best as you would want them to, they've still done it. Not the one that you now say, but this plate is not really clean. No. When they have gone, they rinse the plate properly, but allow them to help. So yeah.
I remember when my kids were still younger and I used to travel a lot. Of course, I had to travel. Their father used to buy them, especially my daughter, McDonald's. And even now, my daughter complains. She says that McDonald's he used to buy for them. But hey, they survived on McDonald's.
McDonald's, saving marriages, saving lives.
Oh my goodness, this has really been so good chatting with both of you. I really love both of you. I love your vulnerability, being real. I appreciate that so much. And guys, if you have any last questions for them, we've got to go now. But one more, we'll take one more question, one or two more questions before they go. But they have been really real. Is there anything else, Shola and Tumi, that you feel you just want to pass on? Any words of wisdom I want to pass on to our listeners before you guys go? But you guys have been amazing. I said I was going to laugh throughout today, and I'm just
No. I mean, it's been great because, you know, what we have to learn that marriage is not a destination. You know, it's not, you're not going there and you don't, I'm married. No, I always call marriage your holy ground. It's a place, it's threshing floor. Threshing floor where they will separate the wheat from, you know, they will really separate the goods from the nasties, and you start to see yourself the way you really are. The thing is, so this is me. Oh wow. Yes. So
and you know that thing, you never know how strong you are until you're put in hot water. Is it?
You know,
I can't remember the quotes.
You
never know how strong you are until you get into it. You never know. Everybody wants to get married, and then you have that expectation. My marriage is going to be this. It'll just be my husband and I, you know, just working down like this, doing that, until you get into it. No, marriage is good. Please don't get me wrong, single ladies.
No. Marriage is definitely amazing. I think it's a design by God. It's a mystery. That's what Paul calls it, a mystery. But it is such a powerful thing, that it's a ministry.
Yes.
It's a mystery.
Yes.
It's a core. I mean, there's just so much God does through marriages. I mean, imagine the children that comes out of a marriage and the gifts and the calling. Marriage is more than just your feelings and emotions, as we've all said.
I love that.
There
It's
is
more than your feelings and emotions.
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you can see it that way, I think it just makes you handle it in that, okay, this is a call, and then you talk to the maker of the marriage, that how do we handle this?
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing that just occurred to me before we go. Do you guys have marriage mentors or people that you're accountable to? People that give you advice in regards to your marriages?
Good question. So I don't, but I do have a lot of people that I talk to. So like obviously in the choir, I have my, my sisters, my egmons that I, go to and share when, I need someone to just talk to.
Okay.
And so does my husband. Okay. However, we don't have someone that we both talk to together. Okay. So there's a pastor that he talks to one of the pastors in church quite regularly in marriage, and I have someone as well. Okay. But it might be good to have someone together, but we don't have that, if truth be told. But we do have access. That's the thing. Okay. We have access if we need to. Okay. So no, we don't. But it's something that I've always wondered or pondered that we probably need, because definitely there are times in the marriage, and it happens to me a lot, that I'm just thinking we need to talk to someone. We need to talk to someone. We need a mediator. We need someone to really help us with this thing, and it's really important. And that's usually when I will pick up the phone and call this person. But I think having someone together is important.
I think so. Definitely. I think so. Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Like Shola said, we don't have as well. So of course we have, friends, that we talk to, and of course it's very important the person who you talk to in your marriage.
Yeah,
extremely important, because there's bad advice out there, there's crap out there, and there's so of course we have friends that we talk to. And I think for me, when we're at a stalemate, or when Tunji, I've tried talking me to something, he's not listening, I just go to the Holy Spirit to just go and know that and say, you know what, you are his maker. Sort it out. And of course, at times, it's you actually. It's you that needs sorting out. So I think for me, just the Holy Spirit, or close friends who I can say, who can be objective enough, and who love us, and won't, give me one stupid advice, and I can say, oh, you know what, I think you should do this, right? So we really don't, but we have access. We have access to you and the wonderful Pastor Shola, but we do have access to pastors. But yeah.
So thank you again, ladies. Thank you so much. You guys have been amazing. And folks, those that are watching now, those that watch later, please, if you would love to come and Hangout Cafe to share your story or something that can educate us, please send me a DM or send me a message. And we'll see you next week, Saturday, for another conversation. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.